Nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, "Today, I'm going to make a decision that costs me $200,000. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people do exactly that. Not in one dramatic moment, not in one catastrophic decision, but slowly, quietly, habitually. 7 specific habits that feel completely normal, even responsible, are quietly dismantling the financial future of millions of people right now. And the most dangerous part? Most of them feel completely fine. Some of them even feel smart. Today, we're going to name them, all 7. And more importantly, we're going to show you exactly what to do instead. Let's find out how many of these you recognize. Welcome to VestWise, where we explain investing concepts in a simple way. Quick note before we dive in, this video does not contain any financial advice. Everything we cover today is purely educational, so you can make the best decision for yourself. All right, habit number 1. Here's the thing about wealth-destroying habits. They're not dramatic. They don't look like gambling your life savings on one stock. They don't look like blowing your entire paycheck in one night. They look like Tuesday. They look like a reasonable decision you made without thinking too hard about it. A small convenience here, a slightly passive choice there. I'll deal with that later that turns into never. Think of it like a slow leak in a water pipe. If your pipe burst dramatically, water everywhere, ceiling collapsing, you'd fix it immediately. But a slow drip, hidden behind the wall, losing a few drops per minute, you might not notice for months or years. And by the time you do, the structural damage is already done. Wealth-destroying habits work exactly the same way. Small, consistent, invisible, until suddenly you look up and wonder where all the money went. Today, we name the leaks, and we fix them. Let's break it down. You get a raise. You deserve it. You worked hard for it. So you upgrade your apartment, get a nicer car, start going to slightly better restaurants, add a few more subscriptions. Each individual decision feels completely reasonable, and honestly, each one is reasonable in isolation. But here's the catch. If your expenses rise in perfect proportion to every increase in your income, your wealth never grows. You earn more. You spend more. The gap between income and expenses, the gap where wealth actually builds, stays exactly the same. Or worse, it shrinks. Think of it like a treadmill that speeds up every time you run faster. You're working harder. You feel like you're making progress, but you're still in exactly the same place. This is called lifestyle inflation, and according to a study by the National Endowment for Financial Education, the majority of Americans report that their spending rises significantly with every major income increase. The fix is simple, but not easy. Every time your income increases, increase your savings and investment rate first, before you upgrade anything else. If you get a $500 raise, put $300 of it into investments automatically. Then enjoy the remaining $200 however you want. You still get to celebrate the raise, but you also build wealth at the same time. This one surprises people because saving money feels responsible, and it is, up to a point. But here's the thing, keeping large amounts of money in a standard savings account for years at a time is not saving. It's slowly losing. Here's the math. The average traditional savings account in the US pays somewhere around 0.5% annually, sometimes less. Inflation historically runs at around 2 to 3% per year, which means your money in that savings account is losing 1.5 to 2.5% of its purchasing power every single year. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a block of ice. You put it in a freezer, but the freezer is set just slightly too warm. The ice isn't melting fast, but it is melting. And every year, your block is a little smaller than it was the year before. That's your savings account, against inflation. Now, to be clear, you absolutely need a savings account for your emergency fund, for short-term goals, for money you'll need within the next 1 to 2 years. But beyond that, money that you genuinely won't need for 5 or more years should be working harder than a savings account allows. A low-cost index fund, a high-yield savings account at minimum, something that keeps pace with or beats inflation. Because money that just sits still is money that's quietly moving backward. This habit is one of the most expensive things a person can do with their money, and it's designed to feel manageable. Credit card companies don't want you to pay off your balance. They want you to pay the minimum, just enough to feel like you're handling it, while interest compounds quietly in the background. Here's what that actually looks like in real numbers. Imagine you have a $5,000 credit card balance at 22% interest, which is around the current U.S. average. If you pay only the minimum each month, typically around 2% of the balance, it will take you approximately 26 years to pay it off, and you will pay nearly $15,000 in interest alone on a $5,000 debt. Think of it like this. Minimum payments are like bailing water out of a sinking boat, one small cup at a time. You're doing something, but the boat is still sinking. The fix? Attack high-interest debt aggressively. Pay as much above the minimum as you possibly can. Treat it like the financial emergency it actually is, because mathematically, it is. According to the Federal Reserve's consumer credit data, Americans carry an average of over $6,000 in credit card debt per household. At 22% interest, that's over $1,300 per year per household, going directly to interest payments, not building wealth, not investing, just interest. That $1,300 per year, invested instead at 7% for 30 years, would be worth over $122,000. The minimum payment trap is one of the most expensive habits on this list, and it's built into a system specifically designed to keep you in it. Here's something that might sound harsh, but it's important. You cannot build wealth with money you can't track. Most people have a rough idea of what they earn. Very few have a clear picture of exactly where it goes. And that gap between what you earn and what you think you spend is where wealth quietly disappears. Think of it like running a business without looking at your numbers. A business that doesn't track expenses doesn't know if it's profitable. It might feel like it's doing fine, right up until the moment it isn't. Your personal finances work exactly the same way. Now, budgeting doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need elaborate spreadsheets or a finance degree to do it. The simplest framework, and one of the most proven, is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your after-tax income goes to needs: rent, food, utilities, transportation. 30% goes to wants: dining out, entertainment, subscriptions, travel. 20% goes to savings and investments before you do anything else. It's not perfect for every situation, but it gives you a framework, a baseline to work from. According to a survey by U.S. Bank, only 41% of Americans say they use a budget, which means nearly 60% of people are making financial decisions with no clear map of where their money is going. You can't optimize what you don't measure. Start tracking, even imperfectly, starting today. We covered this in our video on investing readiness, but it deserves a place on this list too, because it is genuinely one of the most costly habits people have: waiting. I'll invest when the market settles down. I'll start when I have more money saved. I'll begin properly once I understand it better. All of these feel responsible. All of them feel like patience. But here's the catch. Every month you wait to invest is a month of compounding you can never get back. Think of it like planting a tree. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Not next month. Not when things feel more certain. Right now. According to a Vanguard study, an investor who delayed starting by just 5 years, from age 25 to age 30, investing the same amount monthly at the same return, ends up with roughly 35% less wealth by retirement. 5 years, 35% less. Not because they invested badly, not because they picked wrong stocks, simply because they waited. The cost of waiting isn't visible today. It shows up 30 years from now as the gap between what you have and what you could have had. Here's the habit that costs people the most, not when markets are falling, but in the recovery that follows. When markets drop, and they will always drop, the instinct is to stop. Stop contributing. Move to cash. Wait until things feel safer. But here's the thing. The recovery almost never feels safe when it's actually happening. By the time it feels safe to get back in, you've already missed most of the rebound. Think of it like this. Imagine you're at a store and your favorite item goes on sale, 40% off, but instead of buying more, you panic and return what you already have. Then, when the price goes back up, you buy it again at full price. That's exactly what most investors do during market downturns. They sell the sale. They buy the full price, and they wonder why their portfolio never grows the way it should. According to research by Charles Schwab, investors who stopped contributing during the 2008 financial crisis and waited until 2010 to return missed a market recovery of over 60%. 60%. The habit of staying invested, especially when it's uncomfortable, is one of the highest value habits a long-term investor can develop. And finally, the habit of neglect. Not the dramatic kind of neglect, the quiet, passive kind. You set up your investments, you contribute regularly, and then you never look at them again, which sounds like patience, which sounds like the be boring advice we always give. But here's the catch. There's a difference between not reacting emotionally to every market move and never reviewing your portfolio at all. Over time, without any adjustments, your portfolio drifts. If stocks perform well for several years, they become a larger percentage of your portfolio than you originally intended. What started as a 70-30 stock-to-bond allocation might drift to 85-15 or even 90-10 without you ever making a deliberate decision. That means you're taking on more risk than you originally planned for, without even realizing it. Think of it like a car. You don't need to constantly adjust the steering every single second. But if you take your hands off the wheel entirely for a long enough time, the car will drift off the road. A simple annual review, once a year, not more, is all it takes to keep your portfolio aligned with your actual goals and risk tolerance. According to Vanguard's Advisor Alpha research, systematic rebalancing alone can add up to 0.35% in annual returns simply by maintaining your target allocation and selling what's overweight to buy what's underweight. Small, consistent, powerful. Let's put a final number to all of this. Two people, both 30, both earning $60,000 a year. Person A has all 7 habits. Lifestyle inflation eats every raise. Extra cash sits in a low-yield savings account. Minimum payments on $6,000 of credit card debt. No real budget. Waiting to invest until the right time. Stops contributing every time markets dip. Never reviews the portfolio. Person B eliminates all 7 habits, invests every raise increase before upgrading lifestyle, moves long-term savings into low-cost index funds, aggressively pays off credit card debt first, tracks spending with a simple framework, starts investing immediately, $300 a month, keeps contributing through every downturn, rebalances once a year. By age 60, assuming 7% average annual returns, Person A has approximately $180,000. Person B, over $680,000. Same income, same starting point. $500,000 difference. From habits, nothing else, just habits. So to wrap everything up, the 7 wealth-destroying habits you probably have right now, and what to do instead. Habit number 1. Lifestyle inflation. Fix. Invest a portion of every raise before upgrading anything. Habit number 2. Too much cash sitting in savings. Fix. Move long-term money into assets that beat inflation. Habit number 3. Paying only the minimum on credit cards. Fix. Attack high-interest debt aggressively. It's your best guaranteed return. Habit number 4. No budget, or ignoring the one you have. Fix. Track your spending, even imperfectly, starting today. Habit number 5. Waiting to invest until you feel ready. Fix. Start now with whatever you have. Time is the asset you can't replace. Habit number 6. Exiting the market during downturns. Fix. Stay invested. The recovery is where the real returns are made. Habit number 7. Never reviewing your portfolio. Fix. Check in once a year. Rebalance. Keep your allocation intentional. Now, does eliminating all 7 of these habits guarantee you'll build extraordinary wealth? Not automatically. Your income, your timeline, your specific situation, they all matter. But here's what I can tell you. Every single one of these habits is costing you money right now, whether you can see it or not. And every single one of them is completely within your control to change. This is not financial advice, just knowledge, so you can make the best decision for yourself. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and consider subscribing. We break down concepts like this every single week at VestWise in a simple way, so building wealth stops feeling like something that only happens to other people. And if you want to go even deeper, check out our video on the biggest lies about investing that everyone believes. It pairs perfectly with everything we covered today and goes even further into the mindset shifts that separate people who build wealth from people who just earn money their whole lives. Thanks for watching, and see you very soon. Bye.